Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. Today we are talking about Marisa in Street Fighter 6. And I would like to use this video to sort of compile everything we know about Marisa to date. There's a bunch of info out there, but it's happened over the course of quite a few months and a bunch of disparate events, and I just want to put it all in one place. Marisa is, of the new characters, probably the breakout star of Street Fighter 6, and for a lot of good reasons. One, she doesn't really look like other characters you would see in fighting games. Most fighting game ladies don't break out of the mold of, well, young, slim waifu. So 6'8", giant muscle god Marisa, definitely a fairly different take for sure. And also in Street Fighter 6, she simply plays completely different than everyone else in the cast. She has a lot of stuff that so far only she can do. So that said, let's just go over all the things we now know about Marisa in Street Fighter 6. So a big one out of the gate is Marisa is the only character so far revealed that can use armor outside of Drive Impact. Now yes, Drive Impact is a universal mechanic, but, you know, it comes with strengths and weaknesses. Marisa has armor on regular moves. Nobody else can do that. And the move that she can do it on, of the ones we've seen so far, she can also just do it regularly. She does not have to spend meter. Now, she can if she so chooses, and perhaps the armor on the EX version starts up a little bit faster. Regardless though, as it stands right now, she's the only character in the game with armor outside of Drive Impact. And also, she is the only character in the game that can break armor. The Big Punch, which the move may be called Gladius, totally destroys armor. So normally, to beat Drive Impact, you have to hit the character 3 or more times because it has 2 hits of armor, throw them, or just otherwise block or not be in the way. That is it. You can't just defeat the move in a single blow unless you use a super, but Marisa totally can. So in Street Fighter 6, armor is her domain, both in utilizing it and defeating it. She is the juggernaut of this game. Another trait that's mostly unique to Marisa is that she can charge her moves, both seemingly special moves and normal moves. Now yes, Luke can charge Flash Knuckle, but that's exactly one thing. Marisa has a lot of options. So as it currently stands, it looks like she can charge her standing heavy kick. This is assuming standing heavy kick, standing heavy punch, crouching heavy punch as well, this guy here. Next one could be stand medium punch, or perhaps a command normal. And also the big punch that defeats armor, the special move, is also chargeable. Now for all of these, charging them obviously makes them slower, but you would have to assume one, more damage, also better frame data, we'll go over that in a second. And for say the big special move punch here, well, it gives more animation. If you charge it, you get the second follow-up punch. If you do not charge it, like in the EX example, you hit him, and that's it. Now, going to the plus frames. So this is, once again, I assume to be standing heavy punch, charge version. And just going by the animation in slow-mo, it looks to be about +3 or +4. And, well, that's really good. On top of it doing a tremendous amount of drive gauge damage every time you block it. So this is something that's very abusable. However, checking out the frames in slow-mo, from start to connect, it's 27 frames. So in no way is that fast, right? To the point where 27 frames, well, it's reactable. You can get caught while doing it. Like in this example here, Marisa just goes for a regular stand heavy punch, not even the charge version, and gets blown up with the Drive Impact. So the charge version, obviously slower yet, so you can react and Drive Impact it on the spot. So it's something you can't afford at all to get predictable with, or you're gonna get blown up really bad. Now on the flip, her one charge move, the special, is the one that destroys armor. So if people are just trying to react to any given charge and it happens to be this one, well, then you blow up their Drive Impact armor, right? So there's certainly layers to this. It's something very powerful, but it's also something you can't afford to get fully sloppy with. And of course, there's combo applications as well. This combo here uses 2 charged moves, both the big knee and the big gut punch. So damage, frame advantage on block, draining the guard gauge big time on block. There's definitely a lot of upsides to this whole charge mechanic. Now, another thing that makes Marisa unique and probably a pretty big deal is her stance, her guard stance. So she puts her arms up to her head, there's a big flash, and while she's doing it, well, she can start tanking hits, as you can see in the last clip there. You still take a little bit of damage, but you can just safely guard through whatever's being thrown at you. Now, on top of this, we have multiple offensive options from this stance and only from this stance. You can't do these moves any other way, and they all seem pretty strong. Our first one is a big double-fisted overhead smash, sort of like Captain Kirk style. The second one is a bit of a headbutt poke. And our third one, well, it's the famous one. This is probably the one you've seen, the giant devastating punch to the back of the head. Now, frankly, the first two, we don't know too much about. However, the third one, the giant smash, this is indeed a true command grab. 6 frame startup while you're in the stance, and doesn't matter if they're crouch, blocking, whatever, it's a grab, it gets them, and then, well, you dunk them in the back of the head. The difference here between, say, a command grab you might see from Manon, or whatever Zangief will have, spinning pile driver wise, is it has to be done from the stance first. So there is additional startup because you have to start up your blocking stance. So it won't have the raw speed from a grab you'd see from Zangief, Manon, or even E Honda. However, still, the damage is there, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna close out rounds, and you're gonna catch people sleeping with it, especially if they're scared of the other options we have from the stance. We have at least these other 2 attacks, and maybe even more that we haven't seen just yet. Also to note, at least from the headbutt option, maybe not so much from the double overhead option, but from the headbutt option, you can choose to remain in the stance, and then go for other follow-ups. So on top of being a defensive option that gives you armor and new moves, there might be some level of trickery or mind games there. Another thing for Marisa, although this seems to be the case for a lot of the newcomers in Street Fighter 6, this is sort of like a divide between new and old, is quite a few target combos, at least 3. One that is seemingly lights, another one here that is seemingly mediums, and the final one that is seemingly heavy punches. And for the medium and the heavies, this is what we've seen earlier in the video. These are moves that you can also hold to charge for more damage, more frame advantage, all that kind of stuff. Not too much else to say, just a lot of characters that are new to Street Fighter 6 have a lot of target combos. It's just different, I guess. At the very least, at the bare minimum, it provides you more options as a player, so that's pretty good. Super wise, we don't know as much for her as for some of the other characters. We have this guy here. Given the initial startup, I have to assume it is her level 2 super, because it has a little animatic there, and it's a bit more elaborate. Most level 1 supers are just a quick strike, and then that's it, that's all. Also, to note here as well, just the EX Superman punch, going by the audio leaks, that's probably an overhead, and it also caused a wall splat state, which she uses the super to combo from, so EX Superman punch, probably going to be a very useful tool, on top of the fact it also breaks armor, by the way. So big brutish damage and breaking armor, she's definitely got it all. The level 3, I'm sure you've probably seen by now. It's certainly impressive, I would say the least, as she stands over you like a god and then smashes you to smithereens. Now, we haven't seen the Desperation level 3 yet, the low health version, except for one small clip. In the Critical Art version, after knocking you into the wall, at some point she'll follow up and, well, just absolutely cave in your face. But don't worry, because this is actually, believe it or not, a good thing. From the press kit, I have this screenshot here in the aftermath, and you might notice there's just a giant heart on Luke's face. So knowing this, let's work out a timeline of events. Marisa kisses her glove, and then smashes your face in with that fist, and well then, my friends, that's an indirect kiss. So at the end of the Critical Art sequence, whoever just got destroyed is in love. Who says Street Fighter can't be about the romance? Sadly, no details on her level 1 super though. Level 2 and level 3 we know, level 1, unfortunately not so much. And now just to talk a few odds and ends about the character, just a few things we've had a glimpse of, but we don't know everything about. Some things like her combo potential. So we did have the one match, which is nice, but we didn't get to really see everything she can do. Like, this is probably the best example from that match. When we have the stun, it's pretty basic. Normal, EX, wall bounce, which is cool. Another normal, special. But we know she has so many more tools than just that is the thing, right? Just in this clip alone, we see target combo, into confirm, into special launcher, as you see it bounces, and then we have another special witch wall splats. So at bare minimum, for like general combo theory, we have multiple wall splats in both the big kick and the EX Superman punch, and a general all-purpose bounce launcher. So combo wise, she should be able to do some pretty interesting stuff and have some pretty interesting routes. Other stuff too, like we don't even necessarily know her full suite of normals yet, so there's a lot to be discovered for the character. Especially for the really important character defining stuff. Like we know she has at least 2 moves that break armor, EX Superman punch, and the EX, I'm assuming it's the Gladius going by some of the audio leaks, right? So these moves totally destroy armor, but what else? Is there anything else? There might be, like say that big toe kick from before. Is that an armor breaker? I guess we gotta wait and see. Other things I think would be fun to see gameplay wise is stuff like just her crouch heavy punch. So it has a regular version, it has a charge version, and also on punish counter launches the enemy. So it just might be difficult to jump at her given the angle of the punch. Always a fan of characters with strong anti-air option off basic buttons. But in the end, my friends, that's a synopsis of everything we know so far about Marisa. Surely in the future there'll be more events, more trade shows, more videos, and we'll learn even more about the character, but these are the main details that we know for the moment. So all that said, if you want to talk about Marisa, you want to fanboy out about really cool character, you know, this channel is a pretty good place to do it. So head on into the comments below. And otherwise, well, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.